NBA Today starts right now. We begin our show, though, with news out of Milwaukee. The Bucks and Giannis, they're in a disagreement over whether or not the superstar will play another game this season. That's according to our senior insider, Shams Charania. Now, today, the Players Association weighed in. Remember, Antetokounmpo, he's missed the last 4 games. That brings the total number of games he has missed this season to 35 as he's dealt with those various leg injuries. But the central question here is this. Is he healthy enough to play? And here is the development within the last hour with the Players Association releasing this statement. Stay with me here. It says in part, quote, the player participation policy was designed by the league to hold teams accountable and ensure that when all-stars, like Giannis, is healthy and ready to play, that he's on the court. Unfortunately, they continue, anti-tanking policies are only as effective as their enforcement. Fans, broadcast partners, the integrity of the game itself will continue to suffer as long as ownership goes unchecked. We look forward to collaborating with the NBA on meaningful new proposals that will directly address and discourage tanking. Okay, there is a lot there as we say hello to Shams Charania. Let's sort through this a little bit, Shams. What more details can you give us on the situation between the Giannis, the Bucks, and the Players Association here?
Look, my understanding is the NBAPA has had conversations with Giannis and his reps, and they believe from those conversations that Giannis feels he's healthy enough that he wants to play when he's right, while the Bucks clearly have also been on the other side of this where they disagree. They believe it's best for him to shut down for the remainder of the season, prioritizing his future, the team's future. He's had 5 different injuries this season. Their season is effectively over as well. So the NBAPA officials want the league to look into this more, and the NBA, as it does with all of these player participation policy cases, they will look into it. They'll continue to monitor it, examine it. He's been out the last 3 games, so how much more further does this extend? Does this really get to the end of the season without Giannis playing? And the NBAPA's overarching point in all this is about tanking and getting a seat at the table with the NBA as far as having their own proposals, their own ideas on how to curb this, with this Bucks example being the latest at the forefront of the league.
Okay, so we do expect the NBA to be looking into this further. Shams, thank you very much for that insight as we welcome you all inside our Los Angeles studio. Danny Green, Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon. Brian, I want to start with you here because I hear all that, and yet I'm not sure tanking is, in this example, what is central in this issue.
Let's take the tanking thing. We know about that. Let's push that aside.
And if Brian's pushing it to the side, he's the first person to put tanking front and center.
This is a failure to communicate. It's a failure to communicate between Giannis and the Bucks. It's a failure to get on the same page, just like it was at trade season. We just saw Ramona Shelburne have that article last week quoting the Bucks ownership, saying, if Giannis doesn't extend, we're going to trade him. Don't you think that's a discussion they would have with him? And at the risk of parodying myself,
oh, here it goes.
Why would the Bucks not want to play Giannis? Why? Why would they not want to play him? They don't want to play him because they do not want him to get hurt.
Right.
Because he's gotten hurt 5 times. Do they care about him and want the best for him? Of course. But Danny, why do they not want him to get hurt?
I would assume they want a better draft pick.
And protect their trade assets.
Now we've got it. If they wanted a better draft pick, they wouldn't have tried to win when he was injured earlier. They won while he was injured, and they've screwed their draft position. Maybe they will get lucky, and they will hop up, and basketball karma will go. But this is a team that doesn't want the player to play so that he doesn't get hurt, so that he can be traded for a higher value. They will not say this, but this is what their actions are very clearly sending.
The Bucks have dug themselves into purgatory by constantly doing whatever Giannis wants year after year after year. That's how they got to this situation. They have to look out for the best interest of the franchise. The best interest of the franchise is to maximize the value they get for Giannis this summer in a trade, okay? And these games are meaningless. The Bucks are not making the play-in. The Bucks stink, okay? By the way, the Bucks are perfectly capable of losing with Giannis on the court. They've lost 9 of the last 12 games with him on the court. This is not about tanking. This is about protecting the trade value, and their only way to have any reasonable hope out of purgatory is to get a massive haul for Giannis in the trade market this summer. They can't do that if he suffers a catastrophic injury, which is the concern, especially considering the repeated calf strains.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit torn because I love what Giannis's approach is. I love that he wants to play.
Absolutely.
But you have to save him from himself. He's had that calf injury multiple times. One could argue his value could go up if you show that how healthy he is and what he can play, what he could do for your group. But they have lost with him when he's come back on the floor. So it doesn't make sense in my mind. So I'm a little bit, like I said, torn between should we shut him down, should we play him? But ultimately, he should rest and sit because it makes sense for both parties.
Well, and ultimately, I am not. You're not a doctor, and so what we so what we can't sit up here and adjudicate is whether or not Giannis is actually healthy right now. That isn't something that we are able to do, and without that makes this very, very complicated. But I'm not surprised. It is the Players Association job to weigh in on this, and we will certainly keep you updated as this endless saga continues. I kind of matched the Bucks background a little bit here. All right, let's get to some action. The Red Hot Lakers, they were in Detroit last night. Here is how this one went down. Remember, no Cade Cunningham.
Nasty
LeBron
boys.
James, though, he finished the first half scoreless. That hasn't happened a whole lot. Didn't continue, though, into the third quarter here. Yeah,
no, that pinky got better second half, knocked down a tray ball.
Lakers cut the deficit to 11, and then here comes Luka Doncic. 32 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. The Lakers come back from down 16 to tie it. So here we go, Tim. It was Dennis Jenkins who responded every time the Lakers went on a run.
I mean, what a success story from a developmental prospect, a two-way dude. Got a standard contract and lighten up the Lakers in this one.
Final seconds here. It's a 1-point game. Austin Reeves goes to the cup and gets that one to go. So now it's a 1-point swing for the Los Angeles Lakers. And then the other way, what did we say? You got to watch that man.
How about a career-high 30 points for Dennis Jenkins in this one?
He's been sensational without Cade Cunningham in the lineup, and the Pistons take a 1-point lead. This is the ensuing Lakers possession here. 19 seconds to go. The Lakers, they have to foul after Luka can't quite get this one off. He has been making those shots over and over again in that stretch, and there's the foul we mentioned. After 2 made free throws, the Lakers trail by 3.
The pass just wasn't there.
Tobias Harris
got a tip on it.
Tobias Harris
there you go.
Great play.
Luka Doncic, though, he makes his shot before pivot. Online, just a little bit short. So the Pistons snap the Lakers' win streak. Detroit holds on to get the win 113-110. And we mentioned they've been kind of okay. They've been just fine without Cade this season. They've gone 8-2 without their star. That 800 win percentage, not only better than their record with Cade Cunningham. No, we're not saying they're better without Cade, but it is better than every team's record this season. On the flip side, though, LeBron, he kept it short and sweet when he was talking about his new role with the Lakers. Take a listen.
It's the role that I'm playing for the ball club. In order for us to win ball games, it's the role that I'm playing, and it's just how the game is going.
That's what's required of him. It is what it is. The Lakers' 9-game winning streak, it is over, but it is the longest since they won the title in 1920. I learned something, though, I think, about the Lakers during this stretch. What about you, Bri?
Well, if you look at their big three that really were struggling with playing together, I mean, their numbers were, frankly, losing numbers coming into this stretch. With LeBron changing his role a little bit, with all of them being healthy. Let's not forget that health, and also Rui Hachimura and Marcus Smart were not healthy last night, but they've been healthy in this stretch. That was able to get some traction that you can build on going forward.
And you had to wonder, would Jenkins go for 30 if Marcus Smart was maybe on him?
Maybe not, but I mean, on the flip side, Detroit was missing Cade Cunningham and Isaiah Stewart, some of the other better players, so there's no excuse
here. There you go.
But the Lakers have shown some growth, and defensively, I like their activity. They've been moving around, offensively scrambling. Like you said, they only played like 13 games previous to this with their big three, so they didn't have a lot of minutes on the road together. So they're finally getting a rhythm, but they're showing some defensive growth and some end-of-game clutch plays that Greg St. Jean, JJ's drawn up. So, and
by the way,
guys like X Factor step up.
That was a really good play that they had drawn up that had freed Luka for a 3, but Tobias Harris tipped it.
Exactly.
But I do think the biggest takeaway from the month of March, where this is their first loss all month, is that trio can fit together. That trio can thrive together. And look, was LeBron thrilled that he went scoreless in the first half? Obviously not. But since he's willingly kind of accepted the called a backseat role, the third option role, he has been remarkably efficient, dominant in that role. The numbers are off the charts, and he looks fresher. He looks, I mean, the guy had 6 dunks.
And that is the whole, what it seems to me, point of this role change for LeBron James, is to keep him fresh for when it matters the most so that they can win a playoff series and hopefully more. But you've covered Luka Doncic for years, and during this stretch, what he has shown has been incredible. I'm curious if this is the best level, and yes, we've seen him play in the finals. Is this the best level we've seen him play?
I don't know if I can say that, because this is a guy who's taken a flawed Mavericks roster to the finals.
Yep.
I mean, you know, Luka has proven that he can carry a team offensively and be a significant contributor defensively, and he's done that this month. I'm not going to say this is the best we've ever seen from Luka, but this is Luka at his best, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's his best. I mean, he's shooting, at the last 8 or 10 games, he was shooting a high clip from 3. When he's making threes, that's when you're in trouble, because he shoots that step back. It shoots around 33, 36%. He's been shooting at 44, 45% three-point. So that's when you see nights where 60 comes in.
Right.
So this is the best we've seen. And defensively, he's active. Like, he's getting steals, putting his body on line, doing the little things they ask him to do. So this is why they've had that 9-game win streak.
Well, and could we see another one start with the utmost respect to their next opponents, the Indiana
They have a
Pacers,
very favorable
the Brooklyn Nets coming up
Washington
here that
Wizards.
they're hosting, the Wizards.
The L.
Could we see? That's rude. It's the
16,
sweetest time of
16
year.
in a
Come
row.
on. Well, speaking of, it's the Sweet 16. It's set for both men's and women's hoops. But which NBA prospect is moving? Well, the men's Sweet 16, actually both are set. But right now we're going to focus on the men. The tournament, it resumes on Thursday, so why not? Let's catch up on some of the top prospects, the top 3, how they did in their tournament debuts. And we're going to start with Darren Peterson. He went for 28 points in KU's first-round win over Cal Baptist. That is the most by a Jayhawk in his tournament debut since the early 70s. But he missed 10 of 15 shots. Kansas, they did lose to St. John's at the buzzer. It was a thriller. And then A.J. Debanza, he started in his first-round loss to Texas. He went for 35 points, 10 boards. That is the most points by a freshman in a tournament debut all-time, and third most by a BYU player overall in the tournament. And that brings us to Cam Boozer. He is still dancing after he became the 5th freshman in the last 50 years to have a 15-point double-double in each of his first 2 career tournament NCAA games. Next up for Boozer, though, it's St. John's on Friday. That's going to be a good one. I thought this was interesting, though. Cam, he was asked about June's NBA draft. This is what he said to the New York Times. He said, quote, "For me, whether I go 1 or 15, it's more about fit. I just want to have a long career, and where I start, it doesn't really determine where I'm going to finish or end up. So obviously, I see what people say, I see whatever, but that's not going to matter in 10 years. So it's just about, for me, stacking the days, being the best version of myself, and yeah, everything is going to work out fine." Man, I wish when I was a college freshman, that is the way that I was thinking about my career. As we say hello to Sean Farnham, who also was not thinking that way at the time. But Cam Boozer, he's been high on draft boards. He's shown an incredible maturity, I think, all year long. What's impressed you so much about the big man?
It's that. It's the maturity. I mean, you can see that he is the son of Carlos Boozer, and that he understands this is a long game. This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon journey that he's hoping to have a long NBA career. And I think that he's played with that kind of maturity. And they've asked a lot of him, especially with Caleb Foster being out and Patrick Gungba missing the first round of this NCAA tournament.
A lot of injuries.
Like, they were like, hey, the ball's going to be in your hand even more. Now we're going to put your brother out there on the court in a role that he hasn't had to be put in before throughout the course of the season. And he's answered the call. Now, if you're going to say one drawback in the last 2 games, he's had a high turnover rate in both of the first 2 rounds. And that could be problematic against a team like St. John's that wants to turn you over and create turnovers and play out in front of your defense. But from his understanding, second half performance versus first half, he's allowed the game to come to him. He's then taken over. You see the numbers on your screen, his impact in the second half of games, and they dominated those second half of games, whether it was against TCU or Siena when they had to respond from the first half deficit, and they were able to advance. And that maturity, I think, bodes well for him, not only now, and I've said this from the very start of this year, his floor is higher than almost any prospect in this draft. His ceiling may not be as high as some of those guys that you were talking about, but you know what you're getting with him, and it's an elite level basketball IQ. It's winner mentality. It's a guy that's going to work in your locker room, and it's going to help you win games night in and night out, and that's what he's going to bring.
And just from the eye test, I mean, he is NBA ready in terms of an NBA body. Of course, you see his dad showing up at games. You know that
his dad is on TV more than Taylor Swift was during Chiefs game. Let's just be honest about it. I love the beard, Carlos. You look great, but it's I mean, my man's on there way too much.
I mean, we're going to have to start keeping like a little tally up like they did with Taylor Swift, right? I'm hoping we can run through a couple of other prospects here, including some news, right, that we saw this morning where Arsham Sharanya, he reported that Darius Acuff, he's getting a shoe deal. He is the first college basketball player to get a major shoe deal while he is still in school. So now we know that his kicks are going to be strong, but on the court, what are you liking? What are you seeing?
And of course, what did AI say when he signed this deal with Reebok?
Yeah.
The next him. And
Which
he's
is a high
been
compliment.
the next him. And for AI to say that, and for this deal to get closed the way that it did, it just proves to you what he's been doing over the last couple of weeks in particular. His run through the SEC tournament and what he's done here in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. In KD's first 2 games that he played in the NCAA tournament, he averaged 28.5 points per game. That's a really strong number.
Right.
So did Zion. This dude's averaging 30. Now, let me show you a couple examples of how he just takes over a game and understands it. Like, we show him pick and roll. Here's one where he just goes, you know what? I see the back line of that defense. I can just break you off and get there and then extend out and finish out in front. And then nobody's better than that. See the gap? Punch it. See his big man? Arm up in the air. Get to that dunker spot. Throw it up there. Let him finish. He has been an elite level playmaker. He has been an exceptional scorer with 60 points in his first 2 games, 36 last time out. And then the efficiency in which he's playing with. You just kind of, and I've said this back in Bristol all last week, and I know you were watching, so I appreciate it.
I'm sending you this late-night text.
But Kemba Walker went on an incredible run in the NCAA tournament.
He did.
If there's any player left in this field that can make that type of run, it's Darius Acuff Jr. Now, the problem is the team they're playing in the very next round.
Right.
The Arizona Wildcats, who are the most complete team that we had in college basketball all season long, in my opinion. But Darius Acuff, it doesn't take away from what he's done individually, what he's meant to Arkansas getting back to Sweet 16, and how much he's improved his draft stock from October to now based on how he's played.
Don't tell Richard Jefferson. I did have Arizona despite Richard winning in my bracket. But Darius Acuff is making me rethink a couple of things. To go over the rest of the tournament, I'm thinking we take a little bit of a field trip here together, go over to the big board, and meet someone who knows, gosh, you walk fast. You're like a New Yorker walk.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm saving seconds.
Meet some precious seconds who knows something about winning in the NCAA tournament. So, again, this is a look at the field here, Danny. This is where things currently stand. But America, we need to get these 2 their Final 4 picks.
Well, Sean knows a little bit better than me, more than I do. But I'm going to start off right here. We're going to go in the East here. We're going to start with the Duke bracket. And if you know anything about me, I'm not picking Duke.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Johnnies.
That's shocking.
I'm going to go with the Johnnies. They've been playing unbelievable basketball. Tino's got them hooping and playing hard, so I'm going to go with them for this one. What you got over here?
How about the fact that St. John's, 21 out of the last 22 games they have won? All right, let's go with Michigan State. I love guards. We talk about guards. Jeremy Fears has been awesome this NCAA tournament all season long for Tom Izzo.
I would have picked them as well. For the next one, I'm going to go Nebraska, just because I didn't have Iowa making it this far. I can't see them. They could have a Cinderella moment, but
we love Cinderella.
So should be noted, they were 1-8 in the regular season against top 25 teams. The only team they beat, Nebraska, out of the top 25 teams. They did lose to them in the last matchup, though, but I love your pick of Nebraska here.
Nebraska owes the one.
All right. Where's this game played?
That's
Houston.
Okay.
So who do you think I'm going to go with in that one?
I think you're going to go with Houston.
Kelvin Sampson, they just win. They're disruptive defensively. As great as Illinois has been, I'm going to stay with them.
Here we go in the Final 4. So let's see what you got here. What you got? The Johnnies and the Michigan State. You probably had Duke. I know you love Boozer. He's polished, but I'm going with the Johnnies. What do you got here? Do you think Michigan State?
Actually, that's exactly what I had. So you and I
Really?
are
All right.
together on this one. I'm going with Michigan State. Again, guards win in March, right? That's what we always talk about. In this one, the one Achilles heel is they can get stuck offensively, St. John's. So their point guard play isn't as elite as Michigan State. Tom Izzo in March. I'll roll with Izzo.
I like Michigan State, too. Is this game still in Houston?
This game is still in Houston. Who are you rolling with?
I'm going to roll with Houston.
Yeah, that is a very smart pick.
But these were my Final 4 picks anyway, so this is a good start for us here. We're going to go to the other side, see what we got. I know, Malika, you had Arizona, so
I do.
I don't know. What you got over here? Arizona, Arkansas.
All right, well, I want to come back on her show, so I'm going to go with Arizona.
There you go.
And if I was Richard Jefferson, I would unbutton my shirt.
Please, we don't need.
I
love you, buddy. We can only handle one.
I'm not going to do that, but you look at Arizona, they're the most complete team in college basketball right now. Their ability to move the ball, Jaden Bradley, his experience. I think that matchup of Bradley having to defend Darius Acuff Jr. is going to be awesome. Braden Burries has continued to move up the draft board.
I'm going to go with the second one. I'm going to pick Purdue solely because my wife went to school there. Normally, I don't have a lot of belief in them. They're always a top-seeded school, and somehow it's disappointing. But this year, I think they're going to get it going. So we'll see what they got. So
all right, I'll make this one quicker for you down low. Michigan.
There we go.
And their length and Dusty May's team, they've been the lead all year.
All right, I'm going to go Iowa State. So we got those groups here. Now, Final 4. You got, who you got?
All right, I've got Arizona moving in.
Of course, yeah, Arizona.
And then down here, if Joshua Jefferson was healthy, and he's not, and he's their best player for Iowa State, I would have Iowa State pulling off the upset, but I can't. So I'm going to put Michigan in there.
Keeping the one seeds. All right. And so we now have our Final 4 here complete.
This is actually my Final 4, too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
So who did you go with originally? Because this is a reset.
Yeah, originally I had Houston.
Okay.
Making it.
And playing who?
playing Michigan.
Okay, I would differ with you. I would put Arizona in over the top of Michigan. This would be my national championship game. And for the first time since 1997, before Richard Jefferson, back when Miles Simon said national champion.
He has Arizona. Richard's going to love this segment a little too much. Sean, we appreciate you. Hey, coming up here, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. They took on the Heat last night in Miami. And Victor Wembanyama, he's must-see TV. We're going to pick this up early in the second quarter here. Norm Powell drives. Here's the thing. Wemby's there.
He had him beat, right? He had him beat, Danny.
Rim for protection. Nope, not against Wemby.
Wemby's not allowing that. Not today. A minute later, Bam Adebayo, he decides to try it. No, Wemby pushes the other way.
Yeah.
Passes to Harrison Barnes.
We'll give him a little boost, little turbo boost. No dribbles from the three-point line.
Just a wild sequence there from Victor Wembanyama. To the third quarter we go. Early on, Steph Castle throws a full-court pass here to Wemby.
Oh, come on.
At this point, you just got to laugh.
Slinky out there.
Oh, he was not done that possession, by the way.
Wemby is everywhere. All right. He contests the three.
Again, he got it off. I'll give him that.
Fox grabs the ball. Your laughter is
seriously.
That's the
It's 50% of the game, and that is undervalued so far in the MVP race. I believe I'm the most impactful player. My third argument would be that offense impact is not just sports.
We swept OKC.
Yeah, we almost swept them. Yeah.
We almost swept them this season. I gotta say, I very much enjoy players who come out and say, at the risk of sounding like windy over here, this is my case. This is what it is. And really, Tim, nothing that he's saying is wrong.
I love how brash he is. I love how confident he is. It ain't bragging if it's true. I love his willingness to be a villain. Man, they don't like him in OKC, and that's not going to help, and he does not care. He's saying, SGA's your MVP? I mopped the floor with that franchise this year. And so we'll see. Hey, if he comes back to OKC for the West Finals, those fans will be ready for him, but Wemby does not care.
I think the most important thing that he said relative to where we are is that there's a debate. In other words, it's not over, and I'm not done talking about it yet. And I think that's a fair statement as well. I think he's right about it.
Well, and he also said that 50% of the game is played on the defensive end. He's calling somebody out for not playing defense, but he's not doing that, Danny.
No, he's saying that I'm the best defensive player in that I guess that debate that you guys are having. You got SGA, Jokic, which is also true. He is unbelievable at the rim and protecting. Here's some examples. You'll run the tape real quick. You got him. His force field is like 8 to 10 feet. So if he's with 8 to 10 feet of you, you are now in his danger zone because you can block your shot at any point. You see Jaime Jaquez is trying to get free, making dribble moves. He's covering so much ground here on different faults, different aspects of the game. Look, he's at the free throw line. Deterring Jaime Jaquez from shooting threes, slide his feet, move.
He's in jail. Jaime is in jail.
He's in jail. He's not only guarding one, but two. Norman Powell puts on a speed burst, thought he had him beat. Tried to use the rim to protection. He got there anyway, so it doesn't matter. And offensively, he does unbelievable things too. It's not all just points. You can see guys setting screens for him, gravitational pull.
Yeah.
Two guys come to the ball, Champagnie wide open for an easy layup. And now guys are seeing this, they're figuring it out. Dylan Harper's like, all right, let me try this. Let me set a screen for Wemby. Two guys go again. His gravitational pull is like no other. Dylan Harper gets an easy little roll to the basket.
Nice pass
at the rim. He's not only just at scoring, but he's blocking shots and facilitating on the offensive end of the floor as well.
Yeah, and so that is what brings us into being a discussion, right? There's no doubt that if he makes the number of games, if he meets the number of games, in my mind, he is the defensive player of the year. But right now, odds makers, they're saying that SGA is the overwhelming favorite to win the MVP at -1,000. This is according to DraftKings Sportsbook. And then you can see he's actually followed by Luka. And then it's Wemby. And then it's Nikola Jokic here. But when we're talking about the MVP, I think that calls for understanding exactly what the criteria is from a voter. Maybe this calls for something more. Oh. Maybe a tower of sorts? That sounds like a job for Wendy's Tower of Power.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm palming the ball. Number 5, 4, 3, 2. Number 1.
I say it in a voice. Tower of Power.
Tower of Power, starring Brian Windhorst.
Well, we're talking about a tower here, a French tower. Okay, I want to say something.
Well done.
I am not putting Cade Cunningham on this list. He is not officially out of contention yet, but I do not think he's going to get 65 games. He would be on this list. I just want to put that here. Okay, let's start with number 5. Jaylen Brown.
At 5.
In other years, Jaylen Brown, I think this is going to be the first-team All-NBA as well. Jaylen Brown is going to make first-team All-NBA. That is something that should reward. It's been a fabulous season for him, doing it at both ends of the court. When I'm saying that you're in 5th in the MVP, that is a compliment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know there's some people getting their feelings. Jaylen, that is a compliment to while you're playing. Number 4, I have Luka Doncic. And I understand that Luka has played brilliantly for this last 6-8 weeks. And that is incredibly important. And his scoring has been jaw-dropping and has helped turn this Lakers season around. The MVP is a season-long award, and he was a little bit in a slump early in the season. And when you're trying to determine 1 through 4, that has to matter, which is why I've got Nikola Jokic number 3. I know that Jokic has not played his best over the last month. However, I'd like to point out he still leads the league in rebounds and assists, and is one of the top scorers in the league, and Denver is in 4th in the West. And I know that they could be 6th if they have 2 bad days, but they are in 4th despite an incredible amount of injuries. I think he was the MVP of the first 2 months. He is there. All right, number 2. Victor Wembanyama. I've got him at number 2. My heart, Malika, wants to put Victor at number 1 because so much of what he does is exactly the epitome of MVP. And what he is doing for this league is so nurturing. It's so good. He's re-energizing fans at the grassroots level and applying pressure to his own peers to care about things they didn't care about, including willing to say that they want to win awards, which I love. But my head, Malika, still has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at number 1, who is having an absolute generational run over the last 2 years. This team has had its full starters for 6 games. And in the next week, they will win their 60th game. They are 15-1. Since the All-Star break, they are going to probably get the number 1 seed. I cannot ignore that, but I will agree with Victor. It is a debate, and it is not over.
I cannot disagree with you. My heart also wants to put Victor Wembanyama at 1 because, and this is just a difference of styles and a difference of personalities, but personally, I love what Victor Wembanyama is doing for the NBA. So my question is this, Brian, how much does the number 1 seed matter in this discussion, and is there something that they can do to make up that ground?
If you're a voter and you're trying to find a way to get Wemby to 1, the 1 seed would be a data point. But in all honesty, their cases are both extraordinarily strong. And the stats that Jokic have are stats that would have won him MVPs in the past.
Right.
So any of those 3, and obviously Luka plays for the highest profile team and they're having an overachieving season. Their cases are all very, very strong. This is not about holding anybody down, but I know that it won't be received that way.
Well, I am just looking.
Is how much her fans love her. The way that LSU arena was going absolutely crazy, the way her teammates played hard.
Christine, thank you. Well, we're talking about the W. We had breaking news moments ago. The Board of Governors has unanimously voted to ratify the terms of the new CBA. So the agreement, now that it's been ratified by both the Players Union and the league, both sides, they now need to complete the long-form document, and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert says this marks the beginning of a, quote, bold new era in the WNBA. As we say hello to our reporter covering the W for us, Kendra Andrews. Kendra, so we just received sort of a summary of the terms here for this new CBA. What more can you tell us about what's on there?
Yeah, Malika, well, let's start with the revenue sharing system, because that was what the big holdup was within these negotiations, right? Well, according to the summary that ESPN received, between salary and benefits, players are going to get 20% of gross revenue. And that is a huge win for players, because gross revenue is the sharing system that they wanted. And it's basically the revenue before expenses are deducted. Another thing that this term sheet lays out is the scale for minimum salary contracts and the standard max. And as you can see there on your screen, minimum salaries are going to start at $270,000, and then depending on your year of service, it's going to go up 4%. That standard max, $1.19 million starting in 2026. Another really big change that we see in this term sheet is just the length and the reach of the WNBA season. The season is going to start. Players have to report to their teams about 2 weeks earlier, and the season can last about a month longer. Starting in 2027, the latest the W season can go to is November 21st, but that's about a month later than what we saw the 2025 season go to, which ended in mid-October. And then also that earlier reporting date, April 15th, it's either that or the start of training camp, whichever comes first, but that can impact those players that play overseas during the offseason or are going to be playing in Project B, which season is supposed to stretch into April. So a lot of different changes that we're going to be seeing under this new CBA.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of changes coming, but the good news is the season's right around the corner. We're getting a WNBA season, and I'm excited because we get to watch the play. I get to see more of my sister, but that also means there's a lot that needs to get done, Kendra, before May 8th. What is that specifically here?
I mean, Malika, what isn't there to get done before May 8th, as you said? That's when the opening night is. April 25th is when preseason games start. April 19th is when training camp starts. I'm working backwards in the calendar, so bear with me for a second. The draft, April 13th. Free agency, Malika, that's going to start on April 9th. Signings can start on April 12th. There are over 100 players who are entering free agency, a process that usually takes about 2 months. We're squeezing it into, less than 2 weeks' time.
Right.
And we could see a lot of movement because of how the salaries are. These players, they want to get paid, and that could really entice them to move around. But even before the free agency period, Malika, the expansion draft. There are 2 new teams joining the WNBA this season, Portland Fire and Toronto Tempo. The expansion draft will be on April 6th on ESPN. But before that, players need to protect up to teams need to protect up to 5 players who can't be selected in that draft. They need to give those lists to Toronto and to Portland. All of that is going to happen between April 1st and April 5th, I'm told. But as of this morning, Malika, teams still haven't gotten any additional guidelines, rules, timelines for that expansion draft. So for as many answers as we have right now, teams still have a lot of questions as we enter this really chaotic ramp up to the new season.
Yeah, as the kids would say, booked and